Today, the 10th of Kislev, is a big day on the Chabad calendar. It commemorates when the second Rebbe of Chabad was miraculously released from Tsarist prison after there was a terrible libel against him. So here's an interesting story I came across from the second Rebbe, the Mittler Rebbe, which I think has a great lesson for us, especially nowadays. The Mittler Rebbe had what was called a kapella, which was this choir and band and performing artists, and they used to sing and they used to produce music, and they had riders on horses who would do all kinds of tricks. And from time to time, on special occasions, he would assemble this kapella and they would perform. One day, out of the blue, on an ordinary weekday, he called together the kapella to perform, and one of the performers was his own son. His son used to be one of the riders who would do tricks on a horse. And they're performing. Most of the Hasidim were quite surprised. It wasn't a special occasion. In the middle of the performance, Dafka, the horse that the Mittler Rebbe's son was riding on, threw him off, and he fell very badly. And people were really concerned about what had happened to him. In the meanwhile, the Mittler Rebbe kept encouraging the performance to continue and everybody to sing and dance and be merry. Anyhow, the doctor arrived. He looked at the Mittler Rebbe's son, and he was quite perplexed to discover that in spite of the really difficult fall that he had, although he had fractured his leg, there was no other serious damage, and he would actually be quite fine in the course of time. So one of the elder Hasidim went over to the Mittler Rebbe and said, "Please explain, what's going on over here? Why out of the blue did you suddenly call together the performers, and why did you encourage the performance to continue when your own son had injured himself?" And he said, "Look, I'll be honest. I had an insight today that something serious was going to happen to my son, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but I recognized that when there's something serious leveled against somebody, if you bring joy into the world, it mitigates whatever was going to happen. And that's why I called everybody together to celebrate. And then when I saw that he had fallen, I realized this is what had happened, so I encouraged the simcha to continue, because simcha removes the difficulty of the decree. And look, the doctor even said his recovery will be good, please God, and his injuries are far less than expected. It's a great message. When times are difficult, it's counterintuitive to be joyous and to have simcha, and yet the simcha often is the solution for those difficult times. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and stay sane.